Is it over for Trump? I mean, is it to a point where it's over because it seems like MAGA is splitting? Well, before everybody starts panicking, let's talk about that today. I'm going to explain to you why I believe this is not the time to panic and that MAGA is not splitting. But I do believe it's a good thing because I think you're exposing who is supportive of populist conservatism and a libertarian leaning, however, who is actually just trying to be influential and trying to literally just build their names up, almost narcissistic. And this would be politicians and even some of these influencers. We're going to discuss all that. Is it truly over for Trump and his administration, or should we just breathe a little bit? And now that brings me to the next part of this. There was a new warning issued by Trump stating, look, get out of Tehran. If you're an American, get out of Tehran. At the same time, China is giving a warning to its people, get out of Israel. Are we seeing things escalate in the Middle East? I have really two thoughts on that. One, I do believe we're going to see escalation, but I do not believe it's going to be in the way that everybody thinks it is. I don't believe we're going to see World War III. I don't believe we're going to see a 20-year war. I don't believe any party wants that. But I do believe you're going to see an escalation for a time. It reminds me of like a 6-day war, 7-day war kind of feel. I believe we're going to see something like that. We're going to discuss why I believe that and why I believe we should be paying attention to it, because I do believe it comes with bigger implications. And then lastly, we're going to talk about some of the issues that are not getting touched on. We're going to talk about the food system again, how people are literally proving the point of how dangerous our food system is. Then we're also going to talk about a little bit more of the agricultural problems. Remember we talked about the Asian needle ant yesterday? There's now an Asian tick. Isn't it weird how we just call these by this name of Asian? And guess what? You remember the last two situations was kind of going towards people, going towards agriculture as in crops. Well, this one is going towards livestock. We'll discuss it. Let's dive into these stories and a few more, because I think we're missing the bigger issues in some of them. Is it over or not? Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. Again, we're humbled by your support. We ask that please consider subscribing and please share our content, because again, we are being held down and we need your support. Again, our goal is to never make you panic. Our goal is never to make you fear. Our goal is to make you understand the situation, and that way you can better prepare. That's the main concern: sustainability, stewardship, and satisfaction. We want to raise our family in a way that represents conservatism, but in a way that they're knowledgeable. My kids, I want them to know what's going on so they can better prepare. First, let's get into it. Is it over for Trump? Is his base literally dismantling? I mean, we saw Elon Musk get mad at him last week, which they did kind of kumbaya moment. We see Tucker Carlson kind of splintering verse him. We see Steve Bannon coming out saying, you know, Trump, you're kind of leaning in a neocon way. I trust you, but you're leaning. You have people like the Hodge twins and Ian Carroll and Dave Smith. All these people are coming out against him. Really, they're just against Israel, so therefore they're coming against Trump. Candace Owen, same way. So are we seeing a split? Then all of a sudden you see like the neoconservatives, the ones that we don't like, the establishment, saying, well, keep on going. War, war, war. Here's what I think you're seeing. And I want to just, let's look at track records, okay? Trump is doing exactly what he's always said: peace through strength. Well, he's going to put himself in war. Look at him, what he's doing. He's not. We're not in war. I want to go back and look at one thing. Do you remember Soleimani strike? Do you remember that in Iran? I'm talking about Trump rained down. Took the general out, like 4 or 5 of his confidants. And everybody was like, oh my, this is it. This is the war we're starting. Everybody started panicking. Nothing happened, did it? What it showed Iran was Trump meant business. And that's why these negotiations has happened. You know why he's moving these destroyers and these tankers over there? Could war break out? Maybe. But he keeps saying every day, and it's amazing how these liberal pundits and also libertarians and also what we consider this MAGA base, this populist movement, these people like Ian Carroll and Dave Smith are all getting up in arms. We've not done anything. It's peace through strength. If we put everybody over there, what it shows is this: Iran is probably saying in the back of their mind, like they said yesterday, okay, we may need to come back to the negotiation table. Guess what happened? Steve Witkoff is fisting to head back over there for another Iran negotiation. Now, what did it take? It took nothing. It took Israel doing what they're doing unilaterally, but it's not taking us doing absolutely nothing other than showing pressure. While everybody's panicking, Trump is doing exactly what he said he'd do. Now, does that mean Trump won't do another strike in Iran? Does that mean Trump won't help Israel in some way? No, it doesn't mean that. But Trump is not going to put us in a 20-year war. He has preached against it from day one. Did he do it again with Soleimani? Did we get in a war with Iran at that point? Did we all of a sudden go crazy over there? No. Did we get in a problem with Syria? Are we in a 20-year war over there? No. Did we have a problem with the Houthis and we all of a sudden are now in a 20-year war? No. Are we in a 20-year war with the Gaza Strip? No. See, you get what I'm saying? So why everybody's complaining and yelling and screaming like the room is burning? It's just literally, Trump is leading by a strengthened force. What he does is this. He puts extreme pressure on a situation like he is fixing to bombard it, blow it up, annihilate it, finish it out, and at the last point says, okay, we'll negotiate it. That's literally, that is a negotiating ploy. And I think I think Americans, especially these ones that are panicking like crazy, I think the reason they panic is because they've never seen that. They've always seen politicians just sway with the wind. I don't think Trump is swaying with the wind. Now, here's what I do think. I think Trump listens. Okay, let's talk about the last few days. What have we seen? We saw him actually pull back on the farmer hotel leisure part of that. I even spoke against it. A lot of people spoke against it. I thought that was a bad move. What did he do just this morning? He said, never mind. We're going back in. We're going to raid them because I see that the base is really wanting this to take place. So he listened. Why do you honestly believe he's not listening now? The reason he called Tucker Carlson out yesterday, because Tucker Carlson was like, we don't need this forever war. We don't need this war. There's no war even starting. The point of what I'm saying is this. Just breathe. Just breathe. You have the people like, of course, Daily Wire is coming out like, Ben is saying, well, Trump is doing this great. We need to fight with Israel. Christians need to fight with Israel. And then you have the other side, like the Dave Smith and Ian Carrolls and Candace Owens, like, we need to fight against Israel. Bottom line is, this is what happens when you have a very diversified look. And this is what happened when the Conservative Party actually did splinter. We should have kept to morals, values, and truth and what we believed in. And then you have, of course, like the Karl Roves and Lindsey Grahams and all them saying, war, war, war. Trump has not changed one thing about what he's done. He is literally showing peace through strength. You know him moving the Nimitz over there and basically it's an aircraft carrier basically from Taiwan. Eldridge Colby was like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? We need to show strength against China. Sometimes I think Trump just does all this just to show, look, I got this. Here's one thing I think we haven't realized, and I want to be completely honest with you. I listen to Tucker Carlson. I listened to Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon this morning, their podcast. I listen to Ian Carroll and Candace Owens. I like listening to them because I do believe they have a good way of investigative journalists that may not be everything I believe in, but it's a lot of things I like to hear. I like listening to Laura Loomer because there's things that she believes in that I think she has Trump's ear, and I think that she does good because she looks out for Trump in a way. Same way with some of the other ones. But here's what I want to pay attention to. 70-something million people did not vote for Tucker Carlson or Alex Jones or the Hodge twins or Laura Loomer or Karl Rove or Glenn Beck or Colby Mack. 70-something million people didn't vote to have Pete Hegseth as president, to have J.D. Vance as president, or to have your favorite conservative podcaster as president. They voted for Trump. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean 77 million people will agree? Absolutely not. So Misty and I are very mindful of what our children eat. Not only what they eat, what about what they drink? Did you know our body is made up of 60% water? Why are we not talking about water enough? That's why today I want to talk to you about Cove Pure countertop filtration system. This is something that we personally have been using for months. It's been sitting on our counter. You guys already know about the industrial and farming practices. You know the runoffs, you know the dangers of the water and what's happening to our water. What about the harmful pesticides, the chemicals that have been leaching into our grounds that now we're partaking in our body? When we think water is healthy and it's good for us, we may be injecting some of these things like forever chemicals. Did you know that lead and arsenic, things that are getting in our water, have been proven to cause behavioral and cognitive problems? It's also linked to diseases and problems with infants and children. So guess what most people do? They want to get cleaner water, so they buy one of those little filtered pitchers. Pitcher filters are only getting about 23% of the harmful things out of our water, unlike Cove Pure. Cove Pure filters out 99.9% of all harmful contaminants in our water. You don't have to take Cove Pure's word for it. Look at this third-party study that shows exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know, for instance, health is everything, and we believe food and water is the keys to that. Cove Pure's countertop filtration system is a game changer. If you use my link below, covepure.com/themacs, you'll get $200 off today. Do not miss out on this opportunity to give your family the best quality water possible. Remember, 60% of our body is made up of water, and we want to make sure that we're getting the very best quality, especially when you know all the dangers that can be in our water. Check out covepure.com/themacs today. Get $200 off. This is not only a good buy, it's a great investment into your family. Check out Cove Pure today. One thing I've learned is, I'm a Christian, I go to church, and love the church and whole. But we even in a church that everybody believes in Jesus, and there may be 50, 70 people in your church, 100 people in your church, it's hard to get everybody to agree on one thing, right? Think about your family. I have 6 kids, and when we don't go out and eat a lot. We like to eat at home because we believe in sustainability. But say like when we go out to eat, if we're like, hey, we're gonna go to the the local we're gonna go to the local smokehouse or the local pizza maker, or we're gonna go to the local Mexican joint, or we're gonna go to the local hibachi. We may have 4 or 5 different locations, and out of the 8 people in the car, there may be 4 or 5 different opinions. Now, what does that mean? That means we're not all going to agree. But we did all vote for one person to make the decision. Now, I don't mind everybody having a view. I have a view every day. That's what I talk about. It's my personal opinion. But what I don't want us to lose focus on is the panic and the craziness with all these influencers and all these quote-unquote conservative and MAGA base, that they're mad at Trump for something he's just doing exactly what he said he's going to do. And when he feels that he's probably went too far, like the farmer and the situation with the leisure industry about not doing deportations, he changed his mind. And that's what's great about a leader. What I've learned is this. A true leader, and this is from Dave Ramsey, a true leader is a servant leader, meaning they work alongside. They're going to make the ultimate decision, but they're listening to the people they trust most. Does that mean they're impacted and influenced? No, because if they believe in what their goal is and initiative is, they're going to keep their goal focused. But that does not mean that they're not going to take words of wisdom. And I think Trump is doing that very well right now. I actually do. Like, for instance, yesterday, I pushed against the leisure and the farm thing. I did. I thought that was a bad move by him. And you look, again, he didn't listen to me. I'm just this little old guy from Mississippi. But there was somebody in his ear that said, you know what, that may not be the best policy because they voted for 100%, deportations. And all of a sudden, he retracted and said, okay, I agree. That's leadership. And I don't think it's over. I think this is just the beginning. I go back to this. Even if you see America send a missile strike into the Middle East, I don't want to see that, but I don't believe we're going to put ourselves in a 20-year war. I believe it's going to be like a Soleimani thing, in and out. If we do that, and he doesn't put us in forever war, all these same people that were just dogging him out now will praise him. To me, that shows, actually, are they more narcissistic or are they actually supporting the president? Pay attention to who you listen to. Not that you don't need to listen to them, but make sure you're gaining wisdom and not letting them steer you in the wrong way. Now let's move on to the other stories. First, let's talk about the situation with Iran and Israel. It is in the news everywhere. Trump orders his entire National Security Council to be present and be prepared to go right into the Situation Room in D.C. That's a big warning. Also, with the movement of all the troops up there, that's a big warning. Now, like I told you in the first little part of this video, I don't believe it's because we're going to a 30-year war. I do believe, though, there's going to be very, very hard-hitting negotiations or hard-hitting strikes that will make the people come to the negotiating table. Should we take out their supreme leader? I don't know. It's not my decision. I think he's a bad leader. But does that mean we should have a regime change? No, I believe the people of Iran is going to make that happen. The people of Iran does not like their leader. So is Israel helping or harming? That's between Israel and Iran. Leave the Middle East alone. But I do believe that strength through power means we're showing up. I think Trump is doing a good thing by putting people and putting pressure there, and also telling people. And I think Iran, China, Russia, all these people are watching to see what Trump is going to do. For instance, when Trump puts out an order that he wants his whole national security team ready to go into the Situation Room, it doesn't matter if he does anything but have cake and cookies down there. When he says that, people are listening. And I believe the supreme leader of Iran, I believe that the president of Iran, I believe that the biggest leaders in the world are saying, wait, this guy means business. Pay attention to him. And I think he scares them. I think that's actually what it is. Trump's kind of bombastic way, his strength through power, is because they don't know if he's going to bomb them or if he's just going to give milk and cookies or negotiate. I think that's what actually makes it strong. But here's a few things I want to pay attention to. I do believe people need to get out of Tehran. He made in the morning, he said, get out of Tehran immediately. Evacuate immediately if you're an American citizen. Get out immediately. If you are an ally of ours, get out immediately. China even came out and stated to its people and to its allies, get out of Israel. I think they're doing the same thing. I think they're trying to show strength on the other side to say, look, we're going to support Iran. Now, are they supporting Iran? This is a game of chess, I think. I think it's one of those cases where everybody's seeing who's played chicken first. But I do believe this one thing. I don't believe the bombing is going to stop in Israel or Iran. So I do believe both of these things are a good warning, because I do believe that people, if you are not part of Israel or Iran and you're just there, if you're visiting, if you're vacationing, if you're there on business, I think you need to get out. So I think what they're saying is, look, do I believe we're going to see a 20-year war? No. But I do believe we're going to see very tough next few days. If you remember, Israel has done these little 6-day and 7-day wars and these really bombastic bombing campaigns, and all of a sudden peace happens. I don't believe you'll ever have true peace in the Middle East. We've talked about that. I believe biblically that you're going to see literally wars up until Jesus comes back. It's just me. It's what I believe. So I don't believe we'll ever get to true peace, but I do believe that we have times of peace. And this is one of those cases where I believe you're going to see a major escalation in bombing, in campaigns. A lot of people will cease to live. I mean, I hate that. But that is the place they're living. But I do believe it will cease, and it will not be a 20-year war. Is this the end? I don't believe that, but I do believe that you're going to see a major escalation before you're seeing the retraction there. I believe that these warnings are good, though. I do believe that people need to pay attention that, it's not going to be an easy few days. I believe the next 24 to 48 hours will be crucial. I believe Trump believes that. And I think that's why he told everybody to get out. I think that's why he told his national security team to stay close. Because anything and everything can happen. Now, if all of a sudden we see some American person get hurt, or a target on an American city or anything like that, I do believe Trump will send in warheads and missiles, and it will light them up. I do believe that. Now, that may be for best case scenario, but ultimately I don't believe Trump's going to send troops over there. I just believe it's going to happen. Quick. And that's it. And it's done. Again, I go back to the Soleimani situation. So, do I pay attention to what they're saying with the warnings? Yes, because I do believe the warnings are heartfelt. But I do believe that, but I don't want us to get to a point where we're in complete and utter chaos and panic just because we listen to like I said in the first part, all these people telling you we're going to be in a 30-year war. I think that is not good, and I believe that does cause division in Trump support. So pay attention, seek the warnings, but don't panic. That's the main thing. People always talk about, preppers or panickers. They're really not. The reason we prep, the reason that we choose to live sustainable, the reason we want to be independent is so we don't have to panic and don't have to worry when these kind of things come up. If you have the things that you need, you're not really worried about it. You're going to keep on keeping your head to the grind and keep on doing what you do. Pay attention to these stories, though. And if you're not preparing, you need to start preparing. Not to make you fear, but just to say, I'm ready. Now, a few things I want to hit on. First, let's talk about our food. Again, I keep going back to our food because I want us to pay attention to what we're getting from the grocery store. There was an ice cream experiment done, and several people have done this, where they're putting these ice cream sandwiches out in the sun and these ice cream cones out in the sun. And what they're saying is, we eat them because they're good and enjoyable, but truth be told, they're actually terrible for our health. And they talk about all the ingredients on the back. And I want you to go look at these experiments. The reason I want you to do this is because after being out in the sun, yeah, some of the ice cream will melt, But the thing that blows your mind is some of the ice cream formation that holds the ice cream sandwich in together. Some of the ice cream formation that holds that circle top on the cones. Some of that formation of the nuts and chocolate, how usually in chocolate, real chocolate, it melts in sun. Some of this stuff's not melting. There's another demonstration where somebody took Oreos and lined them up and they tried to burn them. And did you know the Oreo didn't burn? And this is the stuff that we're eating daily. Have you seen what Coke does to a penny? Put a penny in a little glass jar, pour some Coke on it. It will clean it up, make it shiny. It will literally bake and boil like acid the junk off of a penny. And again, this is the stuff we're eating and drinking. There was another experiment done, and what they did is they said, why don't you look at the ingredients on the back of the things that you eat? They said, look at pickles. Look at pickles. He said it has polysorbate in it. If you go to the back of like a Lysol or Mr. Clean wet wipes that you're using to clean furniture with, it also has polysorbate in it. Also, that same polysorbate is linked to a lot of cancers. Very carcinogenic. Why is that in our pickles? Look, we make pickles here at our home. We literally make pickles. Meaning we take cucumbers, cut them up, put them in basically, onions, onions, mustard seed, vinegar. I mean, we make our mixtures based on what we want. But I don't put polysorbate in my pickles. Now, why do I bring that up? Because if you keep eating this stuff from the grocery store with all these preservatives, it's literally going to kill you. It's going to make you so sick that you're going to need to be on the same medicines that these companies that own big ag, they actually own big food, they actually own big pharma. You have to pay attention to this, because I think that what we don't realize is if we can lay ice cream out in the sun for days and there's still structure to it after days of being in the sun. If we can go look at the back of our pickles and it has a carcinogenic agent in the pickles that has the same thing as in cleaning agents that we clean our furniture with. If we can go and we can lay a McDonald's burger and fries like people have done in experiments and place them under in a chemical lab and under a glass completely sealed off, and they actually don't get fungus, don't grow fungus, that actually can look the same in a year, that's a problem. I always go back to bread because it's the easiest thing. Our bread has 4 ingredients in it. It has yeast or sourdough, depending on what you're making, flour, a little salt, and water. That's all we put in our bread. Unless we're making garlic bread or something like that. It really just has 4 ingredients. We mix it up, we let it rise, we cook it, and that bread only lasts, honestly, I mean, it's really good when it comes out of the oven. But after about 2 or 3 days, it's hard, it's stale, and if you let it get any kind of moisture, it's going to mold, like quickly. Now, you can't tell me that you can go to Walmart, and even the quote-unquote organic or non-GMO breads, when you can push them down and all of a sudden they sponge back up, when they can sit on your counter for weeks and still taste just as good as the day you bought it. That means there's something in that bread that's not natural to you. We wonder why we're sick. We wonder why we're in such bad health. It's because I don't think we've actually got a grasp of how bad our food system is. So again, I'm not trying to take away from the fact of you working and you become a full-time farmer. I'm not saying that, but I am saying learn to be in control of your food. I think our focus has been on things like, like I told you earlier about the Israel-Iran thing or Ukraine thing or, whatever, I mean, the market crash, whatever it may be. And I think, honestly, the biggest thing that affects us is our food. The biggest thing that affects us is, our mind and our body working together. Well, when we're feeding it garbage, then I believe we're going to become garbage. I mean, it's kind of like throwing a bad apple in a bunch of apples. That bad apple is going to cause problems for the rest of the apple. I think when we truly want healthy bodies and we truly want to be on top of our game, we can't keep eating this crap. So all my push is for this little segment is just to say, pay attention to your food. What I laugh is, do you know like the Dave's organic bread? If you go to Walmart and it's like the organic section, you see all these organic breads that cost a little bit more. If you actually look at the backstory, the same bread that is made, it's called Dave's Organic Bread, or some of these other organic bread makers, most of them are owned by the same company that makes the cheapest bread too. So I think a lot of times we're just confused and we're actually kind of led astray to think what's healthy and what's not. Just pay attention to what you're eating, because if you start seeing some of these experiments with your food, I believe you're going to wake up and say, holy crap, what have I been putting in my body? I think it's time for us to really wake up. All right, last story I want to hit on, just because it kind of ties into the last few days. There's a new story, and this was actually emailed to me from a lady that says, I want you to pay attention to the agri-terrorism you've been talking about. More people need to talk about it. This is from Michigan. Asian Longhorn ticks discovered in Berrien County. This is the first detection of Asian Longhorn ticks in Michigan. Now, if you remember, they've had some problems with Chinese scientists bringing things into Detroit, bringing things into Michigan to do more research. It actually caused more damage to our crops, agri-terrorism. If you remember yesterday, I talked about in Mississippi and several other states in the South, they're having what they call the Asian needle ant. That's could cause anaphylaxis and cause problems for you and your family's health. So we have something, the Asian scientists the other day were bringing in dangers to our crops and to the air. Then you hear things like the Asian needle ants that's causing problems for Americans and the health of our respiratory system, and the dangers of swarms of these things getting and harming humans. Now with these Asian Longhorn ticks affecting animals. Listen to this. Today in Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development actually sent out a warning of a detection of an Asian Longhorn tick. This Asian tick can cause major problems for several animals. The specimens have shown that the potential risk that it shows to mammals and birds, and the true impact on livestock. Now listen to this. Specifically, the livestock that is the biggest concern is cattle. Cattle is the biggest concern when it comes to these ticks that has been shown, called the Asian Longhorn tick. The dangers of animal health and safety is that it could take out populations of herds of sheep, goat, cats, dogs, horses, cattle, and even down to chickens. And this tick can also cause problems for humans. What we don't realize though is if this happens and we see this tick spread, it says this tick can spread and lay 2,000 eggs at a time when it mates. It says it can cause for major damage of animals with stress to them, fatal issues with animals and livestock, to where it could hurt the population of a country. Now, it blows my mind. This is why we need to listen. Nobody's talking about this agri-terrorism stuff. The battle of our water, the battle of our livestock and our food, the battle of growing natural foods on the ground versus buying it from the grocery store, the battle of us literally growing animals instead of having them grown in petri dishes, the battle of having quality versus having trash. All these battles deal with one thing: the war of food, the war of independence. If you control your food system, honestly, if you can control your food system, you really are almost ungovernable. Not in a way of anarchy, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you have independence. If you can learn to provide for yourself, you have some independence. Why do we see an Asian beetle, an Asian disease, an Asian tick? All I'm saying is, if there's a lot of Asian stuff that's coming over here that shouldn't be here, we talked about the citrus grove yesterday, don't you think that we should start banning some things coming from Asia? I'm just asking. I mean, just it kind of reminds me of a 2020 thing that came from a lab there. If you remember, that's where those same people that just got arrested in Michigan literally were from Wuhan. If we don't wake up to this, and see, our FDA and USDA, they need to quit worrying about the raw milk that the Amish are selling. They need to quit worrying about the local farm and the regulation on eggs. They need to quit worrying about that and start worrying about the bigger picture. This is why I say, if Robert Kennedy really wants to make America healthy again, if the USDA and FDA actually worked for you as the Americans, their focus wouldn't be on the stupidity of things like telling people they can't have raw milk and raw honey. The war would be on, just like if you remember, in World War II, you can go back and look at snippets. The government was coming out, and this is before really the deep state and establishment really got started. They'd come out and say, look, if you want to contribute to helping World War II, start growing backyard chickens. Start growing your own food. Have a garden. That's how you can really help America. And that was truth. You know why they were saying that? It's because if our focus is on taking care of, if your men were going to war, then the people back at home can do good by growing crops and being more independent to where they wouldn't hurt and strain the government. Now our government's gotten so big where they don't want you to do any of that. They're trying to make policies to where you don't need to do any of that. They want you completely focused and solely dependent on them. I think these ticks, these bugs, these ants, these creatures, I think these pathogens, these blights, these issues that we're facing, all work together in destroying everything that you hold as independence and making you fully dependent. The reason they want you eating that garbage stuff like the Oreos and the ice cream and the McDonald's burgers and all the preservative bread is because then you are controlled. Your food system, your health, because it's deteriorating if you eat all the preservatives that they're putting in all this. You're eating carcinogenic agents and pickles. I mean, why is that in there? Pay attention to your labels. But more than that, while we're focused on everything else, I think what we're missing and what truly the health movement is missing is that there's someone trying to hurt our agriculture. The real agriculture. It's trying to hurt the non-GMO, the heirloom, the organics. It's trying to hurt the good things about our crops. We better pay attention. Around here lately, there's been people that always sell corn, local farmers. And I tell you to support local farms all the time. But be very careful of that too. Everybody around here is selling this GMO corn. Oh, it's the Anthem XL, the G90, the sweet corn. This corn is perfect. It's so perfect, no animal will eat it. You know those same experiments where they left the ice cream sandwiches out and the Hershey bars out and the Oreos out in the sun? They said there was a few ants that came and got it. But they said for the majority, like if I have a dead animal, and I hate to say this, but if I lose an animal on farm, if I have a dead chicken, some animal gets hurt, I can go put that out in the wood. I can take a carcass of a deer that we kill, anything like that, and I can go put it in the woods, and within a day, it's gone. Because natural animals feast off things that God blessed them with. But if I can take an ice cream sandwich and a hamburger and all that out there, and no raccoon and no possum and no other animal wants to eat it, that's a problem. And so I love when these local people come around and they're selling this good quality corn they want you to enjoy from the farmer. Pay attention to that, because what kind of corn is it? Most of it's modified. Most of it's got the same chemicals built into it. If you look at some of the corns, it's literally got glyphosate, Roundup, built into the seed structure. That's stuff that's carcinogenic. That's literally the chemicals that people are suing for right now. Just pay attention. It's kind of like the Jurassic Park movie I told you about. If we keep allowing these insects to come over and we start modifying our seed so much that these insects won't affect it, if we start modifying our meat so much that the insects won't affect it, what we've done is we've lost control of truly our food system, and we've made this false one in this God complex, and what we're actually doing is eating trash and garbage that's actually not godly good food. Pay attention. If we want to be healthy, we actually got to fix these kind of things first. Agroterrorism is going to affect us more than we think. Our water, our air, and our food supply. Pay attention, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.